Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is a classic. This is the Konosuke HD2 Gyuto 240 millimeter knife, and this is the key Laurel handle on it. The core steel on this, it's really not core steel because it's a mono steel construction. It's just one piece of steel that's laser cut and ground to shape. But it's known as HD2 because it's a second generation HD steel from them. It's a proprietary blend that's semi-stainless, takes a wonderful edge, sharpens up basically like reactive carbon steel, but it's it will take a light patina over time, but it's much less reactive than a standard full-on reactive carbon steel. So it's just the steel's been revered by lots of people, including many professionals over the years, and it's just great stuff. So the heat treat's around 61 Rockwell on that. Construction again is mono steel, so it's got really nice feel on the board. Some people prefer a mono steel construction over layered or clad construction from a feel standpoint. The weight is right about 150 grams or 5.3 ounces. The edge length is about 235 millimeters or 9¼ inches. The overall length is about 15.5 inches or 393 millimeters with this handle. Spine thickness, they have enough thickness on these where they get some contour to the grind. You can kind of see that with the light here on it. But about 2.5 millimeters coming out of the handle. And then I measured about 2.1 halfway down. And then it's just kind of a continuous taper once you hit about the last 2.5, 3 inches. It just starts thinning up. And you can see it gets nice and thin right towards that tip gradually. Very, very classic distal taper. And then we have a thin at the edge grind on these as well. So this is kind of one of the definitive laser style performers. The height is about 49 millimeters on this one, so plenty of height. The handle is an extremely nice key. Is the maker. It's a octagonal Laurel is the wood. It's a fairly thin handle. You can see it's got kind of a standard, height to it, but it's fairly thin. So it's only about 70 millimeters at the circumference, where I measure them about right there where a ferrule would normally be. So it's got some thinness to it. A lot of people have commented they really like that, these handles that Konosuke has been putting on. And so that handle, it kind of disappears in your hand. It brings the balance point to about right there because the blade's pretty darn light. It's a 240, what's it, 5.3 ounces, so it's pretty doggone light. But it brings the balance point, not quite to where your pinch grip would be, but just slightly behind it. So you've got a lot of maneuverability with these. The way they put in the handle mount is old school style, where they show a little bit of the tang there. That's kind of a nod to the old school type handle install. That's an intentional aesthetic move on their part. You've got a great spot for your finger right here for a pinch grip, so it just floats in your hand. Fit and finish on these is top flight. You've got a highly polished and rounded spine all the way down. You've got a polished and rounded choil into the neck on both sides. On the left side of the blade, you've got some etched, their kanji and the HD to tell you about the steel. And again, you can see the contours of the grind there if we do this. Trying to get a good beauty shot here. How about if we go with that? But you definitely see they've got enough thickness to put a little bit of a grind on it. Food release is about what you expect, and maybe a little bit better than you would expect with this style of blade with the kind of finish that it has on it. But it's just, a classic laser style knife. Out of the box edge, for me, was a good 6, maybe 7 out of 10. It was a nice out of the box edge. And you can see what the cutting profile looks like. These have just a well-loved cutting profile that's just a good classic profile. It's got a little bit of flat towards the heel and a kind of just a gradual belly that builds towards the tip. So I can still get pretty high on it, and it'll rock nicely. It'll cut pretty well for chopping in the back half of the blade, maybe a third of the blade. You can do lots of different style of cuts with this thing. It's just a good all-around profile. It's super easy to use. Excellent laser performer, kind of a classic with a updated handle from what they used to put on it. It's just a good classic knife that's an excellent, they're not inexpensive, but they're really well made. So this is the Konosuke HD2 Gyuto 240mm with the Laurel key handle.